Hello, formerly I Heart Exploding here, / Moon Age Daydream. Yeah, I know it's weird that I'm doing it on this channel, but I also, have a David Bowie alias for my cosplay alias now, but I had to change it. I had to change it to something that was more appealing. I Heart Exploding is one of those things that I thought long and hard about changing for years. So, that being said, this is probably one of the only things you'll ever see me reshoot, because I actually had to go ice my face because my allergies are so bad that my face with, the glands under here were really swollen. I mean, it made me look like this all the time when I was talking. So, yeah, I didn't want to put up a video that looked so, I looked so obviously sick or anything in. This is the David Bowie tag, and I was tagged by LabyrinthKing, whose real name I think might be their account, so I'm just not going to say it. I just feel like it'd be fucked up to do so, no, not going to say it. So the questions are, what is my favorite era? My favorite era is coked out ass David Bowie. Because even though a lot of bad things happened in that time that are nowadays amusing to us because we weren't in that situation. Hell, I got drug stories that are funny now but weren't funny then too. He was in a weird place in his life, and he also... Sorry, my hair's driving me crazy. I've just woken up and I'm just kind of OCD. Anyway, what I was saying was, Halloween, what you got? Okay, it's a toy. I had to make sure it sounded like a plastic bag for a second. So yeah, the coked out David Bowie. I can't say the Thin White Duke era because he was still a Thin White Duke for a bit after he moved away from there. But no, David Bowie on lots and lots and lots of cocaine. David Bowie on 10 grams of cocaine a day. That's probably my favorite era if I had to pick one. So, yeah, I mean, there's stories that are kind of funny, maybe they're not funny. Well, they're funny to me. Like him saying that people were trying to steal his semen to make the Antichrist and shit because he was just way too high. And, then there's also other good shit that we got out of it. We got Station to Station out of this. So, David Bowie on cocaine, it was both good and bad. It had good and bad times, but that would be my favorite era for various reasons. The Man Who Fell to Earth came out of that era. Favorite album. My favorite album, oh god, see, you guys had to keep asking, and I'm gonna say a best of. Because I have several best ofs, and one of them has 3 or 4 discs, and we'll go with that because I cannot possibly pick one favorite album. It would be really, really, really fucking hard to do. I mean, if I had to pick a favorite album, I think I'd pick Ziggy Stardust or Station to Station. But, yeah, I just can't. It's almost impossible. I'm sorry that I'm so congested, by the way. And favorite song, again, I cannot pick a favorite song. I love Heroes, but Heroes is getting burned out because they put it in some Daniel Radcliffe movie. I am trying to not sound hipster here at all, but god damn it. That song was awesome until people started playing it constantly and constantly and constantly and constantly. I'm just, to where you're just fuck your shit! Because fuck you! Because that's what happened with Heroes. This Heroes actually is a very good song. It's an amazing fucking song. But instead I'm gonna go with the Gene Genie because fuck you. No, I'm going with the Gene Genie because the video was interesting. It's an interesting song. I find the lyrics to be mildly amusing, but also to be they're amusing, but there's something there. I really can, the line that's in there where it's he sits like a man but he smiles like a reptile. She loved him, but just for a short while. I know somebody that I could actually put to those lyrics. This couple I know. And I'm not going to say any names because I'm not that mean of a person. I might be a dick, but I'm not that much of a dick. Favorite character of his own. Since Halloween Jack probably does not count, I'm going to go with the Thin White Duke. As the Thin White Duke was more sinister. Ziggy Stardust was for hope and kind of hope for humanity and stuff like that. Aladdin Sane was crazy, but he still didn't, like, want to beat down humanity or anything. But the Thin White Duke was dark and sinister. And pretty. Let's just add pretty in there. But mostly because the personality of the Thin White Duke was just so dark. Like, he was just a really sinister type of person. It's tickling me, I'm sorry. And I think that the Thin White Duke was pretty on purpose, too. I think the Thin White Duke was very pretty on the outside to make up for what was just so ugly and foul on the inside, and sinister. So, yeah, that's why I like the Thin White Duke. But as far as Halloween Jack goes, let me fucking tell you guys something that's amazing and you need to go check out. So, you know, like the Halloween Jack, it's not like an official persona, or to some people it's not, to some people it is. It depends on what kind of Bowie fan you are, I guess. I'm sorry, I have horrible allergies right now, and I swear that I'm not also coked out David Bowie. It's these fucking cottonwood trees. They're the devil. But, to the point, you need to look up on YouTube and find Mark Twain, some claymation shit of Mark Twain, time travel, and the devil. Because they meet the devil, and the fucking devil looks just like Halloween Jack. It's like a fucking mask with the same color of fucking clothes and shit on. It looks just like fucking Halloween Jack. I'm not even kidding you. So Halloween Jack educates some fucking children on, like, how shitty humans are, and it's just like, are we sure that this wasn't, like, actually inspired by Thomas Jerome Newton or something? Because that's what it seems like. It seems like it's like a view on how shitty humans are, and but the devil looks like Halloween Jack. So, yeah, that's, you guys, I'm not kidding. I know it sounds like I'm making this up, but I'm not making this up. You gotta just, like, Google it and find it on YouTube. It's Mark Twain and some time travel shit. It's like the Adventures of Mark Twain and time travel, and it's when they meet Lucifer. And it's fucking Halloween Jack. I'm not shitting you, I swear to God. I know I'm not very religious, but I still swear to whatever. I swear to whatever's out there. Favorite character portrayal would be Thomas Jerome Newton, because while the book and the movie were different... Oh, so sorry, guys. I gotta take a drink break. This video is too short to edit, so you get to watch me, like, chug water and stuff in the middle of it. I really, really wish I had some good allergy medication right this minute. Oh my god, I have Zyrtec left. Oh, you guys, it's amazing. Taking one right now. Apparently I didn't have enough Powerade to get that down. Ugh. Oh look, they're showing a facelifter on TV. If it worked, I would get it, because I want this to not happen, and I know that it's like swelling from allergies right now, but I feel like if I contoured the allergies, it would go back to normal. Anyway, so yes, Thomas Jerome Newton. David Bowie was very much Thomas Jerome Newton, despite the differences in the book and movie. I feel like he's... oh my god, English. English is not my best language, just so you guys are warned. It's actually like a shitty language that I half speak. So yeah, I feel like he very much was Thomas Jerome Newton. He did very well in that role, and he just, he made you believe that that was Thomas Jerome Newton. Like, I know that they added a lot of stuff to the movie that even I wasn't happy with. But he, like, his portrayal personally, if you could just cut him out and just look at him unbiased, like, an unbiased look at just his performance, he was very Thomas Jerome Newton. Like, in the book, there was no sex or anything. Guys, stop trying to get in the back room. My cats try to get into everything. And one of them's a Savannah, so he can't open doors, and he gets in there. Anyway, the book did not have a lot of sex in it. Like, it may have been mentioned once, or, like, it may have been, like, underhandedly hinted at once, but it was mostly, the book was mostly about a lady, I believe her name was Peggy Sue, or Mary Sue, or it wasn't Mary Lou, it was like actually like a 45-year-old alcoholic woman that was his best friend. And she basically was just an enabler and just kind of like kept shoving alcohol and drugs and stuff at him, and he just became addicted. And Grr, what are you doing? Grr! Are you trying to get into there? Here, guys. That's the Savannah, by the way. His name's Grr. If you hear that doorknob, that's him. As I was saying, I don't mind that they added the sex part into the movie, because it makes Thomas Jerome Newton to me more relatable. Like, it makes it to where in the book you're just like, oh my god, this is so fucking awful and hopeless that his friend betrayed him. But when you think it's a girlfriend that betrayed him, for some reason that adds that extra step where you're just like, oh fuck. Like, I don't know how the fuck I would deal with that. And you know, you sit there and you can put yourself in his shoes. And I think that's what I like about that. And it also makes it more relatable to when he gets locked up versus the book. The book, you can still kind of relate to it, but I feel like in the movie, because there was a lover aspect, that it still makes it worse. I'm so sorry. I know, allergies, right? Like, I can't really breathe, but I promised I would do this tag anyway. So anyway, as I was saying, when he gets locked up in the experimental, like, ward, the way that I would say a human could relate to it is, say that you don't have an actual mental illness, or you have one that's uncommon, or you have, like, PTSD or autism, which are not mental illnesses, but are, the wiring itself or trauma-induced things. Pardon me. Let's say that you had one of those, and you had so many meltdowns that they put you in a mental place. Even though you're not actually crazy, you just had so many meltdowns that you ended up in there. And they poked and prodded at you and tried every other treatment for everything that you didn't have before they realized that there was nothing, like, you needed nothing to begin with. That, to me, is the most relatable way to compare a human being's experience to Thomas Jerome Newton's experience. And I feel like a lot of people can kind of, if they stop and, like, try to imagine themselves in that situation, if you have a significant other or, you know, a friend that you have a crush on or whatever it is, you are just like, oh man, that's fucking hope, makes you have that feeling of hopelessness. And in the book, at the end, you do have a feeling of hopelessness, and at the end of the movie, I had that same feeling of hopelessness, despite the changes. Now, for everybody who apparently didn't know what the fuck was happening in the movie version, this is what they tried to do with the movie. In the movie, I don't know if it was sexually transmitted, or energy transmitted, or, you know, I don't know if it was a combination of the two, but basically in the movie, the direction they were going was that he was trying to make Marianne into, like his species. Which is why her eye starts to peel off like a contact lens, and she's like, kind of just looks at it and flicks it away, like she doesn't want to say anything to stupid. I forgot that guy's name. So that Bryce. Yeah, Bryce. Fucking stupid ass Bryce. So she doesn't say anything. I believe that the orange cat was symbolic of some kind of deep attachment that is still attached to Thomas. And I feel like having her, like, just there, even though, like I said, this was not the same in the book, it still gave you that feeling of hopelessness that's at the end. So even though they changed a lot of stuff, he still ended up blind, alone, and completely addicted to alcohol and drugs, and you still feel so fucking hopeless at the end of the book and at the end of the movie. And to me, they were both great, but his performance as Thomas Jerome Newton was the only way I could ever see Thomas Jerome Newton. Like, even though he's directing some fucking play about the man who fell to Earth, I don't see anybody else filling that role. You know what? David Bowie, if you find this, because you find everything on the internet, I said this in, like, at least 3 or 4 videos over the past 4 years. Cast Jared Leto if you make a movie, because Jared Leto is the only other person that can be that level of pretty. Just saying. Also, Jared Leto's a very good actor. But yeah, no, I think Jared Leto would be, if David Bowie himself remade the movie, I would still be disappointed. But if he cast Jared Leto, I would be less disappointed. And where were we? Favorite Bowie-related movie. I actually fucking hate The Velvet Goldmine and anything else that Angie Bowie pissed on, like her fucking pregnancy test stick. I hate that bitch. Do you know, if you go watch interviews of her, she trips over her own lies in the interviews. Like, she's nothing but a greedy, selfish fucking cunt who kept the name Bowie just to fucking piss, like, just to piss on him. Like, she makes a living by talking shit about him that's not even fucking true. There's a reason her son and her ex-husband will not talk to her. And it's because she's, like, crazy and full of shit. I mean, she fucking randomly tried to kill herself, even though she was fucking everybody else too, so you can't say that it's, oh, blah, blah, no. No, they were both banging everybody. She's just fucking crazy. And I know a lot of people are like, don't make fun of people who try to commit suicide. I'm not making fun of that part. I'm making fun of her as a fucking person. She's a piece of shit individual. She is a pimple on the ass of society. I love that phrase, and I forget who coined it, but yes, that phrase fits her. She's a terrible person who makes a living off of talking shit about her ex-husband. She is a washed-up has-been who tries to take credit for a bunch of shit she had nothing to do with, and fucking if Andy Warhol were still alive, which I don't think he is, I'm not an Andy Warhol fan, he would tell you that the cute black girl that was, like, one of his apprentices was David Bowie's girlfriend before he even married Stupid. She was kind of responsible for Ziggy's look, but Angie tries to take fucking credit for it. So, yeah, it's just like, I hate that woman, and she wrote a lot of Velvet Goldmine. Like, in fact, I think that was all her doing, so that's her version of what happened, so to me, that's not what actually happened. To me, I know David Bowie is like jokingly said, pick a rumor, go with it. I personally do have questions to ask, but I would want it to be this is like us signing a paper that says, this is between you and I, let's have a conversation. And I would just ask him things myself, and I would only tell him whatever he said I was allowed to tell. If like, for some reason, that conversation ever happened, it would be like, we would become friends and you don't fucking talk shit about your friends. You can, like, I could be like, blah, blah, blah is my friend, but I'm not gonna be like, blah, 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 I just went and got on birth control because, yeah, that's not good. You don't do that. So, I say that you need to ask the man himself if you have questions or curiosities, and I know that most of the rumors that were started about him were sexual based, but she also, like, tried to talk shit about his parenting, too, and there's no way he was a bad parenting. His kid ended up directing and writing Moon, which is one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen in my fucking life. I didn't even know that was his kid that wrote it. I just saw the movie and I was like, oh my god, this movie is so fucking amazing and moving, and holy shit. That was my thought when I saw it. I showed it to my husband. My husband had the same fucking thought. And then we find out David Bowie's kid is the one who wrote and directed it. So, I really think that if somebody was that horrible of a parent, their child would be in a lot more papers and getting in trouble, and I never even heard anything about Zoe Duncan, whatever he calls himself. I think it's Duncan now. Never heard shit about David Bowie's kid in the papers like you hear about everybody else's kid. So, I don't think that was bad parenting. I think that he did the best he could. So that's the rumors like that are the ones that make me want to punch her in her fucking uterus and rip it out. It's probably already ripped out, but I would be happy to just, like, fucking try it anyway, because I can't stand her. She's a disgusting, foul, fucking human being. Now, back to, that. I don't have a favorite Bowie-related movie. I like documentaries that he had some say in, or interviews that he had some say in. Favorite music video? Oh, well, I like the Jasmine for Blue Jean mini-movie, because that was unheard of back in the day. I liked I'm Afraid of Americans because that whole thing was fucking hilarious. It was like one big joke. So, pardon me. So anyway, I thought that was cool because it's like, it was funny. It's like, what do they call that? They call it tongue-in-cheek when it's like really racist seeming, but it's all funny, stupid. Kind of like Machete. Danny Trejo is like a really funny guy, so, you know, like, his movies were like, the Machete movies, I don't remember how he said it, were, like, made to be funny. Anyway, I'm Afraid of Americans was meant to be funny like that, where it was just meant to be, like, every stereotype ever that people have, and I've lived here for most of my life, and I still have fucking stereotypes like that. Like, I'm trying to think of ones that I still think, and I'm sorry this video is so long, but I can't talk about David Bowie without going on and on. I've got to think of one, though, like, like with people saying that drug dealers are all over the place, like if I see people walking around in a populated area, even if they're not drug dealers, like drug dealing, if I see a bunch of people standing around and talking that look like, you know, frat boy looking people, bro looking people, I will always think that they're just drug dealing. So, it's just there's weird stereotypes that will always and forever just, like, stick with you about Americans, and that's why I found that video so funny. I also love the Gene Genie video. Fucking love that video. I also love the concept for what could have been a different video that did not quite make it into there. I really, really liked Space Odyssey. I liked Fashion. Fashion was a great video. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I know that song was gay as shit, but I don't give a shit. Favorite tour? Serious Moonlight. Why do you even have to ask that? That's like the best tour ever. Ever, ever, ever. And, I know that this was mentioned in my friend's video, but how you got into David Bowie. My mom was a David Bowie fan. I was one of those people that was, like, born and bred into Bowieism. I'm sorry, I'm really skinny from a thyroid disease, so I can't. Okay, you can see ribs when I do that. That's not good. I got a kitty. So yeah, that would be my favorite too. Favorite documentary, there was one that I just saw that was called Becoming David Bowie or something like that. Buddy, no, you need to go take a bath. We're not putting your butt on me until you take a bath. Take a bath, right this minute. Sorry, he's a chubby kitty. He takes a while to clean. No, go take a bath. He tried to put his butt on me, okay guys, God. So yeah, it was called Becoming David Bowie. I really liked that one, and I know that it's like not the best to some people, but I actually did like the interviews with Ziggy and the Spiders from Mars. I thought that that was cool to watch, and I like that there's like snippets of video, performance in there. So I like that. Hi buddy, you're not putting your butt on me, okay? Favorite collaboration. I like him collaborating both with Freddie Mercury and with Trent Reznor, but something that's technically not an official collaboration that I really, really liked, Noger, was I really fucking loved that Annie Lennox did Freddie Mercury's Part of Under Pressure in a tribute concert, and I love Annie Lennox. She's hot. But I would say definitely, like, for more modern, and by modern I mean when I was in high school, because I'm old as shit, I like that he collaborated with Trent Reznor, and for just history, I like that he collaborated with Freddie Mercury, because I really love Freddie Mercury. I enjoy all of Queen's music for the most part. Have you ever tried to look like him? Well, normally, which I didn't do that today, normally I actually use the exact face shading he used for the Thin White Duke to make you have, like, the skinny face thing going. But I'm actually dressed as a girl today, so. But yeah, like, I usually do, like, the jaw shading and the cheek shading, and as you can see today, it's just like my face. You can even see breakouts. I just have mutant, maleficent cheekbones naturally. But I mean, like, I did go through different phases of trying to look like David Bowie. At one point, even though my hair was black, I had it cut like the Goblin King. But it was because I could either be a creepy version of Jareth or I could be the Sandman, and I was more trying to look like Robert Smith / Neil Gaiman's Sandman. But I had Jareth, and I actually took a picture of Jareth when I suggested the haircut. I was actually very poor when I grew up, so I don't have a lot of pictures from my childhood. I have very few from when I was a teenager. I mean, we were third world country poor, and that's how I grew up, so yeah. And then, do you like Tin Machine? I don't know how anybody couldn't like everything that David Bowie has made, because he's so creative. Like, I know that there's albums that weren't the fucking best, according to people. Like, I didn't like a lot of shit in the 90s, but I didn't dislike it either. It was just, there was some stuff where I would be like, where I would be personally saying to myself, wow, I'm disappointed that only had 3 songs I like off of it instead of 7. And with Tin Machine, it was different, but of course I fucking like it. Like, who the fuck wouldn't like it? It's interesting. And then Tin Machine 2. Like, seriously. I find exploring creativity itself to be likable. So, don't ask me, do I like this, or this? Like, a lot of people apparently didn't fucking like Low or Lodger or any of those other albums, and I fucking loved them. So, I guess, yeah, I mean, there's some people who are going to be Nazis about it, then there's me who's like, I love everything that Bowie has done because I find him a creative and artistic inspiration to not only myself, but hopefully to, millions of other people. That's how I feel about him personally. He is an artistic inspiration. He is one of the most creative people ever. I'm really glad that he has shared parts of his life with us. And, other than the fact that I hate his ex-wife and love his current hot wife, I think as a person, he's still human, and we need to remember this. But he's also an amazing human being who's creative, artistic, inspirational, and, like, here's something you guys may not know. Like, I have a high-functioning autism. I couldn't drive until I was about 27, and I got my first license when I was 28. And how I stay calm to drive is by listening to David Bowie and singing along with it. And in a way you could say that even though a lot of people are like, I think blah 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 and Jesus for blah blah blah, I thank David Bowie for being a creative individual because it has helped me be able to drive so well that I can actually go visit people now. And I thought that I was going to be one of those autistic people that has to take the bus for the rest of my life, and I can't take the bus because of other health issues. Like, I have to be able to pull over my car at my own leisure for, like intestinal issues and such. So, yeah, like, I feel like David Bowie is probably very creationally inspirational to millions of people. And that is one of the best things I like about him. And not only that, he seems to be a very friendly, everybody I know who's met him says he's a very, very friendly, very kind person. And he seems to be okay with openly talking to you about things if you... Well, he just seems to be okay with it, but like, one of my friends said that they couldn't tell me what they talked about, but he said that he had a very in-depth conversation with him, and he said it was the most comfortable thing ever. So I really think that, I'm so sorry about the allergies again, guys. I really think that he is just a creational inspiration for everybody. And if you don't know anything about David Bowie, if you weren't born into Bowieism like me with a mom that fucking loved David Bowie, just go check out David Bowie, because everything about David Bowie is really, really cool. There's good and there's bad, there's ups and there's downs, but you know what? He's human, so you gotta remember that. So that is my long-ass Bowie tag. Bye, guys. And good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this. Mwah.